अच्छा है, पर OLX Autos एक्स्ट्रा दे रहा है।
क्या बात कर रहा है?
सिर्फ OLX Autos देता है आपकी कार का प्राइस।
Visit olxautos.in now.
वो मेरी गाड़ी का कितना मिलेगा?
आपके लिए 4.5 लाख।
अच्छा है। अच्छा है, पर OLX Autos एक्स्ट्रा दे रहा है।
क्या बात कर रहे हो?
सिर्फ OLX Autos देता है आपकी कार का प्राइस।
Visit olxautos.in now.
बच्चा, लव द कलर ऑफ योर कार। मैं तेरे को 8.5 लाख देगा, बेचेगा?
अच्छा है, अच्छा है, पर OLX Autos एक्स्ट्रा दे रहा है।
क्या बात कर रहा है?
सिर्फ OLX Autos देता है आपकी कार का प्राइस।
Visit olxautos.in now.
वो मेरी गाड़ी का कितना मिलेगा?
आपके लिए 4.5 लाख।
अच्छा है। अच्छा है, पर OLX Autos एक्स्ट्रा दे रहा है।
क्या बात कर रहे हो?
सिर्फ OLX Autos देता है आपकी कार का प्राइस।
Visit olxautos.in now.
बच्चा, लव द कलर ऑफ योर कार। मैं तेरे को 8.5 लाख देगा, बेचेगा?
अच्छा है, अच्छा है, पर OLX Autos एक्स्ट्रा दे रहा है।
क्या बात कर रहा है?
सिर्फ OLX Autos देता है आपकी कार का प्राइस।
Visit olxautos.in now.
वो मेरी गाड़ी का कितना मिलेगा?
आपके लिए 4.5 लाख।
अच्छा है। अच्छा है, पर OLX Autos एक्स्ट्रा दे रहा है।
क्या बात कर रहे हो?
सिर्फ OLX Autos देता है आपकी कार का प्राइस।
Visit olxautos.in now.
बच्चा, लव द कलर ऑफ योर कार। मैं तेरे को 8.5 लाख देगा, बेचेगा?
अच्छा है, अच्छा है, पर OLX Autos एक्स्ट्रा दे रहा है।
क्या बात कर रहा है?
सिर्फ OLX Autos देता है आपकी कार का प्राइस।
Visit olxautos.in now.
वो मेरी गाड़ी का कितना मिलेगा?
आपके लिए 4.5 लाख।
अच्छा है। अच्छा है, पर OLX Autos एक्स्ट्रा दे रहा है।
क्या बात कर रहे हो?
सिर्फ OLX Autos देता है आपकी कार का प्राइस।
Visit olxautos.in now.
Last year, as the automotive industry began leaving behind the strains of the pandemic, supply constraints continued to drive up waiting periods of popular new cars. Thus, while interest in pre-owned cars remained strong, finding a good example also proved to be more difficult as consumers held on to their cars for a bit longer too. So, to help you make a good decision and to make sure you spend your money wisely, we bring you the second edition of the OLX Autos and Autocar India Pre-Owned Car Awards. But what makes a car a good pre-owned buy? Is it just how affordable it is, or does that mean a lower onward resale value for you? Do you factor in service network, and what about a car's physical attributes like space and features? To arrive at an accurate recommendation along with a panel of industry experts, we created a 10-parameter evaluation which factors both a model's affordability as well as its onward sale potential. Data for affordability was driven from the recent Autocar India OLX Autos resale value study, which is based on actual transaction data. Data for maintenance affordability was also used from the Autocar India maintenance cost study, where the model lies in its life cycle and its brand image were also parameters, as were reliability and service quality. Additionally, the jury also evaluated a model's value for money offering, space and practicality, as well as the overall package. Only brands still in production were considered, and in each vehicle category, 3 models were nominated. Evaluations covered cars between 2 and 5 years old. Awards tonight will be given out to the best hatchbacks, sedans and SUVs in each price segment, while for the MPV and luxury segment, the award will be given out across price categories. And of course, also across categories is the overall winner, which takes home the title of Best Pre-Owned Car of the Year. There's also an online vote which has decided the viewer's choice for the best pre-owned car brand. With the groundwork set, let's start the evening's proceedings.
Welcome to the second edition of the OLX Autos and Autocar India Pre-Owned Car Awards. In the recent past, we've seen the supply constraints drive up waiting periods on new cars tremendously, which has only made the pre-owned cars now even more in demand. So here's a definitive guide to help you decide which pre-owned cars to buy. Hi, I'm Manasi Scott. Besides the many people who look to pre-owned cars as their first set of 4 wheels, there are others who buy them as an additional car. Plus, there's a new micro-trend emerging of those looking at pre-owned cars as a way to beat the incredibly long waiting times on their favorite models. Whichever one you are, we're here to make your choice easier. Autocar India, in partnership with OLX Autos, prepared a short list of the top 3 cars in each segment. The selection was primarily based on the volume of those models available, as in the pre-owned car market, and their affordability. But being Autocar and OLX, the process went deeper still, factoring in reliability, value for money, maintenance affordability, service quality, as well as the vehicle's space and practicality and overall package. The judges, armed with all the data, conducted a physical inspection of the shortlisted models and even considered where the car lies in its life cycle and even deliberated what the model's onward resale potential would be. A whole lot of work for the jury, so let's first meet them. Amit Kumar, CEO, OLX Autos.
I think the used car buyer or the used car seller is an even more difficult and more seasoned businessman compared to a new car buyer or a new car seller, because he or she is looking at way more value, better value compared to the new car buyer or the seller, and that's where the smartness of used car comes into play.
Ravi Bhatia, President and Director of JATO Dynamics India.
What I look for in a used car is good value. The reason I'm buying a used car is good value, and the good value is made of low mileage and good price. What I also look for is the reliability, reputation of the manufacturer, and the ease of service and cost of spare parts.
Hemal Thakkar, Director, CRISIL.
First car buyer price sensitivity is relatively higher as compared to any other thing. Of course, there are other things like brand, reliability, availability of parts in case, the car goes bad, etc. But when you look at a second car buyer, he's probably more aspirational. He'll look at, a combination of both the value offered by the car, value proposition, as well as the price.
Avik Chattopadhyay, co-founder and partner, brand strategy firm Experior.
If I have a vehicle already and I'm upgrading into, say, a higher category, and I'm looking at a used car because it gives me great value, then of course, number 1 is the value. Number 2 is the badge that I'm upgrading to. And number 3, obviously, the product category.
Hormaz Sorabji, Editor, Autocar India.
I think anyone buying a used car looks for a couple of things. One is a certain amount of reliability and dependability, because a used car typically is old, more prone to mechanical issues, so that's paramount. I think there's a little bit of aspirational value always, because anyone buying a used car wants to have a car in a slightly higher segment than buying new. So I think fundamentally is these two things.
Renuka Kripalani, Executive Editor, Video, Autocar India.
I think people look to aspire to probably buy a segment bigger than they could achieve when they're buying a new car. I think that's one of the key things to keep in mind, and I think so it's a little bit of an aspirational buy over just practical. That's something that I keep in mind, and I think it's something that I would feel comfortable recommending to someone, is the way that I look at it, which means practicality, reliability, after sales service all count a lot in this segment, and of course there's value for money.
Sergius Barreto, Managing Editor, Autocar India.
So for me, buying a pre-owned car, and I have done that quite often in the past. In fact, it's all about maximizing your budget. You want more car for your money, and which is why you're looking at pre-owned. So I really would look at value for money, the space and the features that you're getting. And I would sometimes, in fact, even look away from brand and things like that, because really I just want to maximize the product.
That's a very seasoned and specialized jury. And so I'm sure we're in for some excellent advice and recommendation. So let's begin with the hatchback segments, which account for a huge number of pre-owned car sales. So the best pre-owned small hatchback nominees are
Maruti Suzuki Alto, Renault Kwid, Maruti Suzuki Espresso.
Yeah, the Espresso and the Kwid, they are a class bigger than the Alto. The Alto does have a huge role to play, and the numbers actually vouch for it. But the Kwid and the Espresso are definitely a class higher. So if I'm looking at more space, I'm looking definitely at styling which is slightly better, more luggage space also, and a few more features in the vehicle, then I would typically consider between these two.
What stood out is when you look at a Kwid versus an Espresso versus an Alto, a clear differentiator is the ground clearance. And maybe better seating comfort or better spacing, which we find in a Espresso or a Kwid as compared to an Alto.
The Alto is quite small. It's not that aspirational. So I think what people are looking at for Alto money, buying a bigger used car. So I think space is a big consideration, especially with Indian families. They always want as much space as possible. So it's really between the Kwid and the Espresso.
Not much to read into there. So without further ado, the winner is the Renault Kwid.
Continues to be popular not just amongst the new car customers, but also, as you rightly mentioned, amongst the used car purchasers. So that's something which is phenomenal. In fact, Kwid has been able to prove its mettle in India in a very competitive entry-level market, I would say, owing to the attractiveness that it offers to the consumers, owing to the value offerings, despite an affordable price, and a SUV-inspired design.
The Renault Kwid has been a popular choice with new customers. As well as in the pre-owned car market, it scored well for its features that include introducing the budget segment to a touchscreen, space and comfort and all that it offers. A very mature ride and of course a whole lot of desirability with the SUV-esque style. Whilst hatchbacks at one time were simply small and affordable vehicles, they are now increasingly offering more in terms of performance and features, all of course while maintaining their small footprint. And here we have the best pre-owned mid-size hatchback. And the nominees are
Hyundai Grand i10 Neos, Maruti Suzuki Swift, Maruti Suzuki Wagon R,
So, the mid-size hatchback segment is a really nice sweet spot in hatchbacks because you've got, smaller hatchbacks, you've got the larger hatchbacks. And this is a segment where you can kind of have it all because you have a compact footprint and you can have a lot of features. And that is where, for me, the Nios does make a very nice case for itself. It's a nice sweet spot.
I think in this battle it would really be between the Swift and the Nios. It's a pretty close fight between these two. They're both spacious, they're comfortable. Of course, Maruti has that omnipresent reliability factor, but Hyundai is pretty close to them in that, so it makes the fight a lot tougher. I think ultimately it'll come down to the details.
While WagonR would be, a low-cost, economical kind of choice, but the series of rating criteria that we had to look at the brand image also. So Swift scores well on the brand image, scores well on the service and reliability. The OEM's brand image is pretty strong, but something in that vehicle has not kept pace with what is expected by a younger generation of used car buyers today. So there we had to say overall package wise, we looked at the Nios as well. So these were the three things that we looked at.
And the winner is Hyundai Grand i10 Nios.
I think the Grand i10 Nios brings in that kind of features on the table at a very, very affordable price. And then there are so many options. You see, right from the Magna to the Astra, and also there's a CNG option now, which is now contributing a healthy 20, 25, 30% to the overall sales. So my point is that as the customer evolves, the Grand i10 Nios has also evolved, and that has really, really helped us to really keep pace and continue to sell very good volumes even today.
A very closely fought battle in this segment, but the Hyundai has features on offer that you'd have to look for in larger cars. The Nios is also a very affordable pre-owned buy, furthering its value for money quotient. And that helps it pip the others to the post. Moving on up the hatchback ladder, we have the large hatches, which offer sedan levels of comfort and features. Here are the nominees.
Hyundai i20, Maruti Suzuki Baleno, Toyota Glanza.
The cars have similar qualities, but at least for me, there were the top two were between the Toyota and the Maruti. Their cars have been around, and they are sort of starting to collaborate also in India. There are pluses with Maruti, which are around the deep service network that it has, and Toyota, of course, as a brand badge, has its own value for the consumer.
The large hatchbacks is very interesting now that you have two cars which are essentially the same, the Baleno and the Glanza. They are badge engineered models, as we know, and I think recommending them in the pre-owned segment is difficult from that point of view because they are both the same. But there is some difference when you're buying pre-owned because you can look at depreciation, check the two models, and you can also look at reliability in terms of your service reliability. Can you get service everywhere? And that's where Maruti has that edge.
Well, I think to be honest, the i20, the most aspirational, but I think it's a little overpriced. It's quite expensive. I think Baleno and Glanza both really, it's a toss-up between the two. Clearly, both the same cars.
And the winner is the Maruti Suzuki Baleno.
Baleno, ever since it was launched in 2016, always been in the top 3 in terms of volumes. And now we had the new Baleno recently launched in February. So you see lots of these Balenos on the road, and I'm sure that's what is prompting consumers, even for the used car. And I'm so happy and glad that we have got this award.
The Maruti Suzuki Baleno, with its spacious interior and a large car-like ride, offers one the pleasures of big car motoring in a small footprint. And it's not just that. The Baleno pips its sister model with the benefits of a lower purchase price and a wider service network too. Moving on. While small cars are practical, there are those that aspire for more, especially with regards to the status, that comes with a sedan. So let's take a look at the nominees for the best pre-owned compact sedan.
Honda Amaze, Maruti Suzuki Dzire, Tata Tigor.
Badge value is very important, especially when I have vehicles which are almost like to like when it comes to performance characteristics and running costs and maintenance costs, and also serviceability and availability of parts.
I think, in terms of aspiration, the Honda sets the benchmark. The Dzire, very popular. It gives you a lot of peace of mind because they're all over the place. So service, that sort of thing, not a problem, including the spare parts. But I think it's got a bit of a taxi image. Also, it's limited in terms of engine options. The space is less. The Amaze that way feels that much richer. You've even got a diesel automatic as an option. I'm not sure how many you can find in the pre-owned market, but that is also there.
I personally like the way Amaze has shaped up as a city minus. I would say both have their own pluses and minuses. Honda is a fantastic engine. The Dzire under 4 meters has been doing well. I would still not give you the answer. It's a close one.
This looks like a very closely fought battle with lots of different opinions there. But the winner is the Honda Amaze.
It is very honorable for Honda to get this kind of award to Honda Amaze. As you know, Honda is has strong presence in sedan market, and Amaze is our gateway model. Of course, a customer for used car is we strongly believe durability, quality, and strong design is very good attraction to the used car customer as gateway of sedan market as well as Honda brand. Thank you very much.
Amazing, isn't it, that the Amaze fends off the rising popularity of the Tigor and the ever-popular Dzire. But it is the combination of reliability and affordability that's unmatched in the segment that makes it a winner. And the Amaze is also spacious and comfortable with a choice of engine and gearboxes too. While we're on sedans, you can also stretch your budget a bit and get sedans that are a little larger in size. And so, the next award tonight is for the best pre-owned mid-size sedan, and the nominees are
Honda City, Maruti Suzuki Ciaz, Hyundai Verna.
Because the moment you're looking at a sedan, you're definitely looking at rear space, and rear space becomes a very, very important factor which makes you choose the vehicle that you finally buy. And that's why the Verna loses out on that area, and you have the Ciaz and the City.
The traditional car, as we very often say, if you ask anyone to draw a car, they'll draw a 3-box sedan. So in that, the Ciaz really sort of illustrates that point really beautifully. It looks very much the sedan. It's very long, has got a nice sort of grand appearance on the road, which does matter a lot to somebody looking for a sedan, a pre-owned sedan, if you want to make a statement.
Iconic is a word I don't normally use, but Honda City kind of created that category, and people considered, good sedan as Honda City.
Looks like the Honda City and the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz are the two who really went hammer and tongs. But we need one winner, and the winner is the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz. This year too.
The consumer satisfaction scores brand-wise, Ciaz is right up there. It's got great legroom space, very practical, as you said. Great car for the office, for the family. It ticks all the boxes, and it's got great fuel efficiency as well. It's got that smart hybrid system, so obviously good fuel efficiency as well. So it's a very, very practical car, and I think the consumers recognize this both in the new car category and in the used car category as well. I think the consumers made the right choice.
It was certainly close between the two, but the Ciaz took the crown thanks to its value for money score, inching it a little ahead of its Japanese rival, the City. While hatchbacks and sedans made for great pre-owned buys, buyers today are pining away for the SUVs, and the segment today has clearly grown with multiple choices available at various price segments. So let's begin with the best pre-owned compact SUV. And the nominees are
Hyundai Venue, Kia Sonet, Maruti Suzuki Brezza,
Kia Sonet is a new entrant and has done very, very well. In fact, the used car prices for Kia Sonet have been trending significantly higher, and then the depreciation is low. But that, from a buyer standpoint, is a problem because the car is expensive in the used car market.
Come up with an aspirational buy. Of course, you would look at whatever is available in terms of product features, but you will at the same time also look at spacing. You would look at more comfort. So there is where I feel, the differential comes in.
I think Brezza comes out a little head and shoulders above them here, simply because of its value in this segment and for what it offers for that value. And of course, that reliability and that ever-present Maruti service.
And the winner is the Maruti Suzuki Brezza.
Brezza, actually defined the category in a way, because when it was introduced, this category was less than 5%. Today, this category is the highest across the industry. It's now almost 22-23% of the industry, and Brezza has contributed largely to that. So I'm so happy consumers do recognize this fact. It's a fantastic practical car for both urban as well as the rougher roads. So I think it's not a surprise to me that consumers have really appreciated it, even as a used car.
The Maruti Suzuki Brezza again repeating its performance from last year. It impressively fought off the new arrivals too. But while the newer ones dazzle with many new features, their high purchase prices really dent their pre-owned appeal. And it's here where the Brezza does it so well. Not only that, it is also very spacious and a robust car with a great ride and all the expected features too. It is also backed by Maruti, which does bring along a certain peace of mind. Interestingly, SUV sales in the pre-owned car market are increasing faster, just like the new car market. Let's take a look at the nominees for the best pre-owned mid-size SUV.
Hyundai Creta, Kia Seltos, Mahindra Scorpio.
I just think the Creta, the fact that there are so many more of them, Hyundai's service is a bit more widespread, and also the fact that, in terms of the slight better comfort inside the new Creta, especially the backseat and the suspension, I just think it's a more practical choice, and I think that's what will give it the edge.
Okay, people hardly do off-roading with them. So that's where possibly the Scorpio, in spite of huge legacy, loses out to the Creta and the Seltos. So you basically need to choose between a cousin who's been with you for longer versus a cousin who's just arrived in your life.
And again, it depends upon, if I'm a metro and urban, I think both will score pretty equally. But if I'm a buyer from a slightly category 2 towns or category 3 towns, then Creta scores in terms of service.
There's a clear favorite, and yes, the winner is Hyundai Creta.
We are very honored to receive this prestigious award, the pre-owned car category. And I think this award is a reflection of the love which Creta has been able to create all these years. Yes, like you said, it has become a cult brand, and people now say that yes, this is a Creta segment. And nothing pleases us more when we get this award also, because this shows that how people are valuing the Creta, and how even the resale value is so strong, and how people are wanting to own a Creta at any level, So I think it's very good.
Whether it's the previous generation or the new one, the Creta offers a comfortable interior and with plenty of features. And with the new generation, the feature list has only grown and grown. With SUVs, it's pretty much about the size, which brings us to the next award for the night. The best pre-owned premium SUVs. And the nominees are
Jeep Compass, MG Hector, Tata Harrier.
I think Jeep a very solid product, but unfortunately it's not something that I could easily recommend as a used car because there have been reliability issues, so that's something you don't want to recommend to someone. Between the Harrier comes only I think in the diesel, that's a downside for it, whereas the MG you can get in a variety of powertrains and that gives it a plus point. And I think the MG just has that little bit more wow factor and it comes at great value.
Phenomenal job in building this product. It's an intuitive product which is being loved not only in the metros as my perception was. My fellow panelists had a few anecdotes as to how MG Hector is becoming a good and important favorite in the tier 2s and the tier 3s also.
So in that space, Hector created its own brand, its own perception, a lot of positivity going out in the market that the product is good, the value proposition it offers is good. You know, probably one of the first few models which are 10-inch touchscreen. You know, today's customer gets buoyed by all these.
The winner is the MG Hector.
For us, I think it's very relevant because the MG Hector, the internet SUV, is a people's car, is fondly loved by current customers and future-owned customers as well. I think OLX as a platform is a platform where it is completely a consumer speak, and our intent will be to continue to working on this area, making sure that consumers current and in the future remain happy and remain satisfied.
Its incredible space on offer, feature-packed insides, and multiple engine and gearbox options make it a great choice. But what cinches the pre-owned award is the service reputation that MG has built and the unlimited mileage warranty that will offer peace of mind to second car owners. So what's going to take the big award for tonight? That's just round the corner. But before we get there, we turn to an award that actually straddles multiple segments and is the best pre-owned MPV. And the nominees are
Maruti Suzuki Ertiga, Renault Triber, Toyota Innova Crista.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you're looking at a 7-seater, you do consider things across segments, so it's not all that difficult. Innova has been a long-standing king of its segment, but, you know, it's pricey. That's something to consider, and here's where I think the Ertiga really shines. The kind of features, the kind of space, the kind of comfort, the drivability that car offers for the price that you're getting it at is pretty incredible.
If I look at the Ertiga, then I would certainly say that it ticks all the boxes in terms of interior, space, the packaging for the comfort packages and convenience packages. It just ticks all the boxes.
Pointed out, you know, these are three different segments in the pre-owned vehicle category itself. You know, a Triber is a classic package for a large family, you know, who aspires to own a car. For the entire family, it's a low budget. If you look at Innova, it's on the other end or on the extreme end, and Ertiga lies somewhere in between.
With the choices strung out across various price segments, to arrive at a winner, the judges focus on how well each MPV performed within its own segment. And the winner is the Maruti Suzuki Ertiga.
car doing great numbers for Ertiga. So it's natural with so many cars on the road, being there for 10 years. A lot of consumers have great trust in this brand Ertiga. And I'm so happy that it's been recognized as one of the best-selling MPVs in the used car as well.
The Ertiga offers comfortable seating for 7 and has a very thoroughly thought out interior, and all of this at excellent value. And now, moving on to a brand new segment this year, which, our dear viewers, is based on your request and feedback. We have the best pre-owned luxury segment vehicle, and with a massive overlap in prices, few models available, we've decided to look at both luxury SUVs and sedans together. And the nominees are
Audi A4, BMW X1, Mercedes-Benz E-Class.
Getting into the luxury car segment, they're buying it for primarily 2 reasons. Number one, of course, is if you're buying a luxury car, you might as well be seen on the rear seat of the car, right? You want to be driven to places. And the other reason is the badge. So if you're anyway going to spend that amount of money into getting into the luxury segment, might as well get a badge that everyone universally recognizes as, yes, you've arrived.
In the luxury segment, we've introduced this category new this year, and we are really looking at how each of those perform within their segments. As you know, I mean, the BMW X1 really doesn't compete with an E-Class, but how do they perform in their segment? And that's really where the E-Class outshines the others, because within its segments, its rivals that if you look at from BMW, from Audi, from Jaguar and the others, it really, really delivers maximum bang for buck with great legroom and fantastic comfort.
And it's really down to the back seat, because I think that's what is important in luxury cars today, is they want the overall size and comfort, which you really don't get. And though the E-Class probably has a slightly higher residual value, and so it's more expensive to buy than, let's say, an A6 or a 5 Series, just the fact that you've got that back seat, which really is a make or break for many people, is what gives it the edge.
This was a close fight too, and one between 2 sedans. But with its incredible backseat space and comfort, and of course the prestige value that the 3-pointed star holds, the Mercedes-Benz E-Class is the clear winner.
It definitely is a very strong seller, even though I have to say we also have in the E-Class some scarcity in the market. A lot of customers hang on to their car for very good reasons, but it's a very good seller for its resale value. It's very good in terms of its maintenance cost and so forth. So we have very strong experience with the E-Class, and I'm really happy to receive that first time OLX and Autocar award.
Okay, before we get to the final award of the night, I must remind you that we threw open an award for you, our viewers, to pick what you thought was the best pre-owned brand to buy. Basically, which brand would you trust in the pre-owned car market? And as always, we were overwhelmed with the votes. But before we announce the winner, let's see which brands were the top 3.
Hyundai, Maruti Suzuki, Toyota.
Quickly type in your answers and let's see if your choice matched the masses, and did the masses choose what the jurors did. And the winner is Toyota.
At the outset, I'd like to thank OLX Autos and Autocar team for this recognition. And it really truly means a lot to us. It's a reflection of the trust, the dependability of our products, particularly the Fortuner, which has enjoyed unwavering love over the last 1 decade.
And now it's time to see what our jurors picked. This is the big award of the night, the one car or SUV that scored well with all the jurors and impressed them and stood out amongst its peers. This is the pre-owned car of the year. Let's take a look at the nominees.
Audi A4, BMW X1, Honda Amaze, Honda City, Hyundai Creta, Hyundai Grand i10 Neos, Hyundai i20, Hyundai Venue, Hyundai Verna, Jeep Compass, Kia Seltos, Kia Sonet, Mahindra Scorpio, Maruti Suzuki Alto, Maruti Suzuki Baleno, Maruti Suzuki Brezza, Maruti Suzuki Ciaz, Maruti Suzuki Desire, Maruti Suzuki Ertiga, Maruti Suzuki Espresso, Maruti Suzuki Swift, Maruti Suzuki Wagon-R, Mercedes-Benz E-Class, MG Hector, Renault Kwid, Renault Triber, Tata Harrier, Tata Tigor, Toyota Fortuner, Toyota Glanza, Toyota Innova.
And the winner is Maruti Suzuki Ertiga. This is the one that scored the highest points across the board.
Is the one which expanded the MPV category. The MPV category is now almost 8% of the market, thanks largely to Ertiga. A very practical car, again, very reliable, great quality, very good satisfaction scores from consumers for the product. So, and Ertiga in some ways defines this category now. So it's got the CNG option as well. It's very heartening and very satisfying that Ertiga has been chosen as the used in the best car, pre-owned car of the year, beating, as you said, almost all other category cars.
Thank you so much for watching the second edition of the Autocar OLX Awards. I do hope we've helped you figure out your absolute favorite pre-owned car. I'm Manasi Scott. Good night.